before I say anything about Gal Gadot, let me say this. We cannot discount the possibility this could work.
Yeah, of course. Or it could suck.
And we cannot judge it until, and there's a difference between prediction and judging. There's a big difference. Judging can't be done until after you sample it. And until the movie comes out, we cannot say definitively she will suck. We can't do that. We've done that in the past. 99% of the time, what we as movie fans think is going to suck sucks. But then sometimes, every once in a while, it doesn't suck. And we got to be open to that possibility, and it can work. Here's the analogy. You know I like to bring everything into sports analogies, but here's the analogy I give this, all right? Let's go, I don't know, pick a sport. Great, pick a sport.
Basketball.
Okay, basketball.
Good
Let's
job,
say you're the coach of the Miami Heat, okay? You're the coach. And there's 2 seconds left in the game. You're down by 3 points. You have to take a 3-point shot. The coach draws up a play for the worst player on the team to take the shot instead of LeBron James. Is that the wrong decision? Yes. Can it work? It may still work.
May work.
He may hit the shot. But even if he hits the shot, it was still a bad choice. It was still the best choice would have been to give it to LeBron James. That's your biggest chance to succeed. Here's my problem with the Gal Gadot stuff. We'll get to the fact that she's not a trained actress. She was an underwear model. She doesn't have a background in acting. She was only put into date night because she was a hot lingerie model who could say, "You make sex with us?" Really sexy. And she was put into Fast and Furious to be eye candy, and she wasn't even good at the eye candy role that she was given to play. But what happens is, people who want to argue with me about this Gal Gadot situation, I say this was a bad cast, much like it would be a bad decision to give the worst player on the team the 3-point shot. This was a bad casting decision. That can still work. But what they will often come back to me with are 2 separate arguments. One is, well, we had never heard of Chris Hemsworth before.
Yes.
We had never heard of Henry Cavill before. True. But having heard of them is completely different from them being qualified. Look, Henry Cavill, for almost a decade, has been a highly sought after and recruited dude in Hollywood. He was almost the new James Bond. He was almost Superman before. Yeah, a lot of almost. But the casting brains in Hollywood have had their eye on Henry Cavill for almost 10 years and had pegged him years ago as a highly talented, with high star potential. He's been identified that, never given a break. But that's his background. You look at Chris Hemsworth. We talked about it earlier in the show when we talked about Star Trek. Chris Hemsworth was a dude that casting people in Hollywood have been talking about for years, just looking for the right vehicle to give to him to see if he can actually take off. But he was pegged as a guy with a lot of acting talent, huge upside, star potential. That's his background. Gal Gadot's an underwear model. That's her background. So that's the one argument that people make. Hey, well, we never heard of these guys. My argument is having heard of them is irrelevant. Were they qualified? Did they have the talent? And were they pegged as people who had talent previously? Now, the other argument that people come back to me with is often the Zack Snyder, give them the benefit of the doubt argument. That's the argument I often hear from people saying, well, I'm sure they must have seen something in the audition. Okay, but if you're going to use that argument, then you are never, ever allowed to second guess any casting decision ever made in Hollywood, because you can always say that, well, they must have seen something in the audition.
You always use the Heath Ledger thing.
Well, yes, exactly. The Heath Ledger, but once again, let's look at the background.
Yes.
He's a great actor. When they were making the Dark Knight,
yeah.
Heath Ledger was already an Academy-nominated actor.
Yeah.
He got an Academy Award nomination for Brokeback Mountain. He was almost another Academy Award. What was that other film he did? Now, he was a hit-and-miss actor, but when Heath Ledger was on, he was an Academy Award level actor.
10 Things I Hate About You.
10 Things I Hate About You, says Greg.
Who doesn't love it?
Let's be clear. I'm not pro.
Oh, no, I know. And I'm not talking to you. I'm saying
being the devil's advocate because it's important to represent both sides.
Yes, absolutely. Now, so here's ultimately what it comes down to. When people want to say, argue with me about giving Gal Gadot a chance, I'm saying, well, you shouldn't argue with me about that, because we're going to give her a chance.
We have to.
Unless we say we're going to boycott this movie, which would be stupid, we're going to be there opening day, and we're going to watch the film with an open mind and hope. Trust me, I'm a big critic of her casting as Wonder Woman. I'm a huge critic of it. But there's also nobody in this town that is hoping to be wrong more than me.
Yeah.
I hope she knocks it out of the park because I want a good, sustainable, thriving DC cinematic universe. And for that to happen, you got to have a good Wonder Woman. But sitting here a year and a half away, removed, I'm looking at it and say, all the arguments for Gal Gadot right now are all what I call blind faith arguments. They're saying, well, let's just believe it'll happen. Whereas with a Chris Hemsworth or a Henry Cavill, there was tangible, sustainable, quantifiable proof. These guys were talented, they were pegged as talented, and they were pegged as having star potential before going into it. There's a big misconception here too. People will often want to say, Zack Snyder has a great history of casting. He does, but you're crazy if you think Zack Snyder made this casting decision. If you think Warner Brothers, who are trying to build a DC cinematic universe with a lot of DC movies to come that Zack Snyder will not direct, put the casting decision of Wonder Woman, who's going to be a small character in Batman versus Superman. If you think they put that whole decision on him, say whoever you pick will just run with the future, you're nuts. I think Zack Snyder had a say. I think they got his input.
I'm sure Ben Affleck had a say too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they had says.
And I trust him as a filmmaker.
But and I trust Ben Affleck huge as a filmmaker. But once again, I can't use that as a positive argument because that's a blind faith argument. Once again.
But here's another scenario, John. If she is in the film and absolutely sucks, there is a very high probability that they would replace her for a Justice League film.
Can change her.
They can.
All other things being equal as fans, though, I think, look, you know me, right? No actor is irreplaceable.
Yeah.
But all other things being equal, I think we all agree, the best case scenario is you get one actor and you stick with them if possible.
Of course.
So I would have liked to have seen them gotten an actress that really had the potential to do really well.
Whoa. Let's be clear. She has potential. You just don't have a lot of hope.
I haven't seen the potential.
I mean, she was that bad in Fast and Furious.
I thought she was pretty darn awful in Fast and Furious 6.
I really didn't think so.
I haven't seen enough of her to be able to make a decision based on that. But I think it's a bad business move overall to put someone in that role who cannot carry a film on their own.
Because ultimately that's it, right? She can't just be a good supporting
this is not a one movie gig. If they want to set up anything, if they want to establish anything.
Exactly.
Exactly. She can't, I don't see her carrying a whole movie.
Here's the other thing that we're not talking about.
Screen test. We don't know.
But once again, another blind faith argument, right?
Without faith, we have nothing, John.
True. Without faith is the substance of the things unseen. That's my old theology background for you. But here's the one thing that we're not talking about, is that it is possible that Gal Gadot could be terrible as Wonder Woman, and it can still work if they have the right script. And because let's look at Gina Carano in Haywire. Gina Carano, who a lot of people wanted for Wonder Woman, and I said no, I didn't want her as Wonder Woman because she's not a strong enough actress yet. But the director for Haywire,
Steven
Soderbergh. What Soderbergh did was he crafted the movie and her role to hide her weaknesses and accentuate her strengths. Is Gina Carano a good actress? No, she's not. But even though she wasn't a good actress, Soderbergh was able to create the role for her and create the movie in such a way and orchestrate the movie that it hid her lack of acting ability and accentuated on her strengths, her physical presence and all the stuff that she could do action-wise, keep her dialogue to a minimum. When she did have to give dialogue, don't make it dialogue that had to be infused with a lot of emotion. And they did that. There is a possibility here that Gadot is, as I fear, not a good actress and she won't do well, but Snyder could still orchestrate in such a way that it can come across just fine, even without a good actress in the role.
But maybe this will be her breakout role, and people are like, okay, wow, she does have talent.
It's
actually
possible.
They knew what they were looking for. Imagine that. Again, I like to play
blind faith
both
argument
sides.
again.
I love to play both sides, but when I first got the casting news as well, I was like, wait, what? And I know we're all pro Jamie Alexander. I was after seeing Lady Sif and all her other work, but then we had the panel with her, and I was like, wow, she is just the coolest, most talented chick around. So I was already pro about that, and we believe her as fighting and all of that. So initially I was a little disappointed. I can name 10 other actresses I had in mind first.
Yeah.
But I do have this faith. I do have this hope. I loved Man of Steel, and I do think they know what they're doing.
John, greetings and salutations from Dubai. Love the show. I watch the show regularly like it's my daily fix.
Awesome.
You have been talking about Gal Gadot, saying she isn't the Wonder Woman you like, but she's training now in various martial arts, boxing, and gaining weight for the role. I know she has to prove her acting chops, but she could possibly be a surprise, and let's not forget she served in the military. Also, Jamie Alexander isn't as massive as we see on screen. So the question I ask is, what are the implications if The Man of Steel 2 or Batman vs. Superman isn't very good? Like, what if it sucks? Will the DC universe continue forward and lead to JLA or stop it?
Well, let's start with the Godot thing. I think 2 or 3 hours ago, we touched on this when we had Gray Drake here. Here's the thing with Gal Gadot. Okay, she is training in boxing. First of all, saying somebody from Israel was in the military, that doesn't really mean anything because everybody in Israel has to serve 2 years in the military. That's mandatory. That's mandatory. To say, okay, she's training in boxing and martial arts and all that kind of stuff, doesn't matter. Because there were already people out there who were 10 times better than she will ever be. Look, if all we needed somebody that had the physical stature of Wonder Woman and had the fighting skill, we would have hired Gina Carano. Gina Carano would have been the no-brainer choice. If all we were worried about is somebody who can really fight and really look the part physically of an Amazon warrior, then we would have gotten Gina Carano. But that's not really important. The important thing is, can they act? Are they a trained actor? And that's why I always said, going back, that as big of a fan as I am of Gina Carano, I did not want to see her as Wonder Woman because she is not a strong enough actress. She does not have an acting pedigree. She does not come from a background of acting. She hasn't exhibited the talent needed to carry a film. And, we talked a little bit about Haywire. That what Steven Soderbergh did that was so brilliant was, okay, we've got this girl leading the film who's not really a good actress. So what did they do? They hid her flaws. They gave her minimal dialogue, and when she did have dialogue, it wasn't emotion-infused dialogue, and they focused more and emphasized her strengths. So the issue about her being physically training is it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You can get anybody to physically look the part. Do I like the fact that they're starting with a girl who's 97 pounds? No, but you can remedy that over the course of a year or two. But like I said, once again, if all we cared about was the fighting and all that kind of stuff, we would have gotten Gina Carano. She would have been perfect. The problem is she's not an actress. I've said this before, I'll say it again. She's not an actress, and I know some of you guys are getting sick of hearing me say this, but let me recap my biggest problems. With Gal Gadot, and then I'm going to tell you why we still have to have hope, all right? We still have to have hope. The problem with Gal Gadot is she's not an actress, she's an underwear model who was given her first film, which I believe was Date Night, as Mark Wahlberg, the girl who was sleeping with Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, an underwear model.
And an underwear model, right?
He decided to start somewhere.
And I'll get to that in a second. So, her one line was, "You make sex with us?" and sounded ridiculous doing it. And then because she was hot eye candy, she was given a role in Fast and Furious 6, in which she was terrible. Now, some people say, John, don't judge her by her acting performance in a movie like Fast and the Furious 6. Okay, but she's a non-actress who has no acting background, no training background. She's been training as an actor for about 7 months, which good for her. Good. It's a good start. And now she's been handed the biggest, most iconic female superhero franchise in the history of comic books. Mark Wahlberg, on the other hand, was an underwear model and a rapper who 3 years before taking his first role decided he wanted to become an actor and started training in Hollywood as an actor. He started going to a lot of the, not the Groundlings, I'm trying to remember the same guy Ashley went to. I'm forgetting, but anyway. Started going there, started getting training as an actor, then started getting certain parts in smaller films. And he started to develop and he started to grow. And as he started to develop and grow, he got bigger and bigger films and got bigger and bigger roles. And then before you know, after about 7 years of doing this, he was a legit movie star. Suddenly he's in The Departed and he's got an Academy Award nomination. That is not the Gal Gadot situation.
It's like 4 years, though. I mean, since she started acting.
Has it been 4 years? And define acting. Because
now
here's the other thing. Now, my biggest point about this is that every argument for Gal Gadot here is what I call a blind faith argument. Mm-hmm. Some people want to say, well, John, look at Henry Cavill. Nobody knew who Henry Cavill was prior to Superman Returns. Some people want to say Chris Pine. Look at Chris Pine. Nobody knew who he was before Thor. But having heard
Chris
of
Pine,
him,
Star Trek.
Well, yeah,
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Sorry, thank you. Chris Hemsworth in Star Trek.
Chris Pine was in Princess Diaries 2.
What? So But the fact that they haven't been heard of is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, Henry Cavill, for almost a decade, had been eyed by Hollywood casting agents. He was people looked at him to be Superman 5 years ago. People looked at him to be the next James Bond. He has been eyed by Hollywood casting agents as a guy with major star potential and major talent for years, and then got his break. Same thing with Chris Hemsworth. Before he got that little crack in Star Trek as Captain Kirk's dad, he had been identified for years as a guy with huge star potential and a lot of talent, and they were looking for the right vehicle for him to possibly have a breakout role. He was great in Star Trek. It was a very tiny role, though, and then they gave him a shot, a recognized talent, gave him a shot in Thor to carry it, and he hit it out of the park. So you're looking at these two guys, Henry Cavill and Chris Hemsworth, are a very, very different situation from a girl like Gal Gadot. She had none of that pedigree. She had none of that background. She had none of that resume. And the fact that they were all unheard of is completely irrelevant. So really just saying, well, let's give it a chance. That's a blind faith argument to say, let's give Zack Snyder the benefit of the doubt. And for setting aside for a second, Zack Snyder has nothing to do with this decision.
Right.
This is a Warner Brothers decision. That as well is a blind faith. Because if you want to use the argument that, hey, I'm sure they saw something in the audition that they liked, let's have faith. Well, in that case, you are never allowed to ever criticize any casting decision ever.
I think the word you're using is wrong. You can't say blind faith, because I could say you have blind non-faith in this. You're like, it's stupid that they cast this person who's a non-actor.
No. I'm basing it on this. Here's the facts. There's a girl who does not come from an acting background.
Right.
She is best known for being an underwear model. The two outings she's had and had an opportunity, just the two, in her Fast and the Furious and the one little bit part in Date Night, hasn't impressed anybody.
Right.
And now, unlike the Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch situation,
right,
who started as that and then slowly developed and grew over the course of years and years and years, 5, 6, 7, 8 films under his belt.
You see him saying Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch makes hearing that makes me smile and laugh because it's such a funny name.
Hey, feel the vibration, my friend.
Right.
And who over the course of 5, 6, 7, 8 films till then they said, now you have the experience. Now you have developed. Now you have grown. Now we will start giving franchises to you and let you go. Gal Gadot, Fast and the Furious, I will look hot in this bikini. Wonder Woman! Ridiculous. Now, having said all that, you have to give it a chance. It is what it is. They made a mistake. You can't get around this. Them casting Gadot was a mistake. But you can still get the right result.
I can't understand how you could say it's a mistake because, like, you once again weren't there in the casting decision. You're not the casting director.
That's a blind. Then you can never criticize any casting decision.
Sure,
ever.
I'm just saying you particularly are so wound up about this Gal Gadot thing. I particularly am not. I think, hey, whoever the casting decision was, who it led up to being Gal Gadot. I remember us, talking about the two other actresses who were up with her for a role in the DC movie. We were like, oh, it's not going to be Wonder Woman. It's probably some smaller role or something. But it actually was Wonder Woman. So if you go back, you can see those other two actresses. You have to imagine that they went through at least 15
to also 20. Weren't good actresses.
I'm just saying, yeah.
It was Olga Kurylenko
right,
and I can't remember the other. And at the time I said, well, none of these three are good actresses. So it can't be for Wonder Woman. It's got to be for a smaller role. Turns out they were looking at all non-talented actresses for Wonder Woman, as it turns out.
But it's really hard to tell at this point. Like you're saying, it's blind faith. But I kind of, it's hard to say like, hey, they picked Ben Affleck for Batman, then they picked Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman. Whoever's in charge of the casting, these people all went through the same process. Maybe Ben Affleck not so much, but there's a process that you go through, and you get vetted. You do screen tests, you do all these things. You try on the outfits. You do multiple lines from the movie. Just little tidbits that she said, and you can gather, you're like, oh, she's going to be an Amazonian. They're going to introduce the island of the Amazonians, and she's going to be from it. So they're going for something. So I'm just not going to, I can't get on the same page as you as this kind of thing with, like, there's other casting decisions that have upset me in the past. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you know what? If I can only wait, like you say, wait until you see the movie, but I just can't get that much anger about the casting of it. I can. No, I know you can, but I just can't get that worked up about it because it's like, to me, it's like, hey, someone there, I really liked Man of Steel, and there's a lot of people who didn't like Man of Steel. I liked all the casting decisions in Man of Steel, particularly like some of the actresses, like the woman who played Fiora. I thought she was really fun. She was like, she had that Ursa, Phantom Zone flavor from like the early 1981 film, but she also had her own, she was super, a badass fighter, So it was, that movie itself had a lot of, back and forth between all of us when, you can dissect it and you could talk about it, but ultimately I really liked it. I saw it twice in the theater. I can't wait to see it again when I haven't got the DVD yet, but it's a strong film. It stood up. It's better than a lot of the other films, if I was going to look at all the Superman movies, Superman, the movie, established Superman as a superhero character. Superman 2 was the one that hit it out of the park for all the, 1980s kids and stuff like that who saw it. It's like, that's all you got really at that time. That was all that was around. The other two Superman movies, not so good. Superman Returns, not good. Man of Steel, bam. We finally got a superhero movie with Superman in it.
Yeah.
I can't really, I just have to reserve judgment and was I expecting Gal Gadot to be cast as Wonder Woman? Absolutely not.
Nobody did.
Nobody did. But was I expecting Ben Affleck to play Batman? No, I was not. That was a shocker. I was like, yeah, didn't he already rock Batman, but in the red suit as Daredevil? And we all saw that. He already did it 10 years ago, and it wasn't that great. It's not a horrible movie if you see the director's cut. I'll argue that, but that just came out of left field. I was like, Ben Affleck, he's rocking it as a director now, making real movies, realistic movies, not superhero movies, like fantasy, big blockbusters. But then you think about it, all of it all added up after we all found out he built a bat cave in his own house. The guy's a sweaty nerd. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't really know that much about Gal Gadot other than she's Israeli. She was an underwear model. She's been in a couple of movies.
I will say she was not a swenty nerd.
No, I'm not trying to say. We know Affleck is a sweaty nerd. Gal Gadot is just a hot chick who is a model. They had to see something there, and I'm going to leave it up to that. It's like they don't throw. They're like, I just can't see where you're coming from sometimes when you're like, they did this rash decision when it's like they're casting Wonder Woman. You would expect them to I don't know who you expected to be cast. Maybe I heard all the stuff a real actress.
About 15 different names.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying within what we have now, there has to be a reason. Obviously, we'll find out in a year and a half.
Yeah.
I'm holding out, saying, you know what, they cast this person because they saw something inherently in her, even above and beyond the other two actresses who aren't A-list actresses. There was something that they were going for with those last three. If you look at them, there's certain similarities, maybe just visually, but then she was able to hit it out of the park. I'm assuming acting wise.
I'm going to assume there was something they were going for, and it wasn't acting ability, but. Like I said, I think there's a reason to hope here. I think there's a reason to hope.
Now, the other thing, too, is acting ability, people grow. There's transformations that happen. When she shot... But I'm just saying, Fast and the Furious, that's 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago when she shot it. She could have been taking acting lessons every day. People grow.
Right, but once again, that's what I kind of fall under the blind faith. That's let's hope that's what happened. Look...
No. I'm not hoping it. I'm just saying
it's possible.
Something had to happen to make them decide to give her that role.
But here's what I come down to. When you look at, let's take Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, right? Okay. And we got to say, okay, what are our tangible reasons for believing in that decision? Okay, Henry Cavill is Superman?
Right.
All right. Knocked it out of the park in The Two Doors. People loved him in it. He had been identified with great talent, almost got the new James Bond role, was looked at to be Superman before, and there were about 3 or 4 other franchise films. The casting directors have been looking at this guy already. That's the level of talent he has.
He was, like you're saying, Henry Cavill was already in the top 6, because I saw all the audition tapes for Superman that McGee shot.
Right,
and
that was one of them.
And so was Brandon Roth.
Right.
They picked Brandon Roth, like Singer came on when McGee quit, and just basically took those 6 out of those 6 people. It's like, that's the one. He didn't have time to have that giant audition tape that you watch for Superman Returns. That was all phony.
Yeah, but what I'm saying here is, if you're looking at the decision-making process and what do you have to base on? Okay, so Henry Cavill, he's got The Two Doors, hugely sought-after talent, almost got these big franchises before, serious talent.
Right.
Okay, Ben Affleck, All right? Notwithstanding the Geelys and the 10 years ago Daredevil. Last film he was his lead actor in, won Best Picture at the Oscars. Before that, he was in The Town, which got a lot of critical acclaim.
Wrote a little screenplay that he won an Oscar for.
Yeah. And so again, a guy that's the helm. There you got Gal Gadot. What is our tangible, real life fallback on that?
Hot Chick and Fast and the Furious. No, I get you.
And that's my point.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying, is that there is nothing to defend this with other than let's hope they saw something they liked in the audition process.
That's the only defense that you have, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the only defense you have. You're like, hey, there's always people getting cast that you've never heard of. Christopher Reeve was cast as Superman. He was like some soap opera actor. It's like, but they made it like we're going for a nobody. They made that a big thing. We got Gene Hackman, we got Marlon Brando, and then Slappo is going to be Superman. You know what I mean? They made it a point to say that they were going for an unknown, not a nobody, just the unknown word.
But here's why you have hope, and here's why there's hope. All right, and this is something I got to keep reminding myself of, and everybody. There are some people who go way more extreme than me and say, "That's it. Let's not watch Batman versus Superman." No. There is reason for hope, and here's why. Here's the sports analogy I gave earlier. All right, take basketball for example. Say the Miami Heat. You're the coach of the Miami Heat. All right, you got LeBron James on your team, best basketball player in the world. So
do we need anybody else? I got LeBron James.
Everybody
else get on the bench.
No, you don't need anyone else.
So here's the thing. You're down by 2 points. You got 2 seconds left in the game. You need a 3-pointer to win the game. And you got your team on the side, and you drop a play, say, who do we want to take our shot? Eddie, the worst player on the team.
That's harsh.
Wait a minute. Let's finish. We're going to have Eddie take the shot because they'll be expecting LeBron to take the shot. So let's get Eddie. Now, is that the wrong decision? Yes, it's the wrong decision, but he's still going to throw that ball up. Mm-hmm. And there's still a chance that ball is going to go in that net. There is still a chance that it will work. It doesn't change the fact that it's the wrong decision. He still should have given the ball to LeBron. Right. But Eddie's going to throw that ball up, and that ball still may end up going in the net. I contend this is the wrong choice. The Gal Gadot is definitively, in my opinion, the wrong choice. But that being said, just because it's the wrong choice, that doesn't mean the chance does not exist that it may still work. It may still work. This can work. And we talked about Gina Carano and Haywire, right? And we talked about how Steven Spielberg wrote things around Soderbergh, to hide her weaknesses and to accentuate the strengths. There's nothing that says here that we may get directors, Zack Snyder probably on a small level, because I don't expect Wonder Woman to play a huge role in this film, probably for future films.
Yeah.
Or you can get directors to do what they did with Gina Carano. Hide her weaknesses, accentuate her strengths, and look, and if you have a bad performance but great dialogue and great story and great things given to her, a bad performance won't necessarily kill the film. As a matter of fact, the bad performance may not even look like a bad performance. Look, is it the wrong decision? I'm with those of you who think it is the wrong decision. I'm with you. But I am not with you for those who say, that's it, there's no hope for this film, because there absolutely is. Because it's not just Gal Gadot. It's the director. It's the writers. Everybody's going to be working with her to get her prepared to play this role. Would I put money on her doing a good job? No. But I'm also not going to put money on it that it's not going to work, because I think there's enough there, you got enough talented people around her, that it is possible this can work. And as a fan of the DC Cinematic Universe, who wants nothing more than to see a good Justice League film, I've got to hold on to that hope. I'm not going to be blind to the obvious mistakes that are being made here. But we still hold on to hope, because other movies have made mistakes and survived them.
Right. Or become giant hits. I mean, for every movie that has a character that hit it out of the park, then you have these movies like Flash Gordon from the 80s. Whatever happened to Sam Jones?
Yeah.
He ended up playing the Spirit in a TV show, and then he's in Ted. Yeah. That's it. That's basically all you got from that guy. Was he a great Flash Gordon? I thought he was fantastic. You know, did the movie make all the money that it was supposed to make or whatever, or was it perceived the right way? I think the sports analogy that you use is a little weighted on one side. I mean, that's LeBron James or some flappy nobody to like do the 3-pointer.
An experienced Academy nominated actress or of an underwear model. I think it's an apt comparison. I really do.
I know, but it's like at the same time though, it's like there's a lot of transformation time that happens between roles. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Well,
is like,
hopefully, because she's only going to be asked to do probably a cameo in Man of Steel. And let's say they do JLA before they do Wonder Woman. And that will probably be a bigger role than Man of Steel, but still not a huge role. Maybe by that time that Wonder Woman comes out way, way down the line, she has improved.
Now, Amy Rose pointed out and when we talked about this earlier, Amy Rose pointed out, she said, look, if they put her in Man of Steel 2 and she really blows as Wonder Woman, they can always change her. And I said, look, and I said, look, yeah, they did that with Batman, right? They got rid of Katie Holmes. They brought in.
They took out Terrence Howard. They got the
exactly.
Yeah,
and
people are replaceable.
I totally believe you can change any actor. I don't believe any actor's untouchable. But that being said, I think we would all agree that all things being equal, we would prefer to get our first actor be the last actor.
Yes.
We would prefer to have one actor in there in continuity. So, yeah, they can dump her, but I don't want them to. I want to see some continuity. And if you have to, do it. But I would much rather see them start with somebody and then follow through with that person, even if it's Gal Gadot. I would like to see it, unless she's just that terrible in it, which I think there's enough talented people around her to prevent that from
I swear to
happening.
God, I mean, I think everybody's going to be eating crow when this movie comes out because she can't be that terrible. They cast her as Wonder Woman. That's the proof for me. Like, I know you keep saying she's an underwear model and all this other stuff, but it's like they cast her as Wonder Woman. That should throw all that stuff out the door. That to me is like...
Not if I believe them casting her as Wonder Woman was a mistake.
That's where we differ, but we'll know in the next year and a half. No, you decided to say that when you were making Return of the Jedi and chucked a bunch of Ewoks in there for teddy bears.
Screw you, I love the Ewoks.
I'm just saying, see, even that, like for me, like I'll argue with people about the grossness of Return of the Jedi versus the other two. Like I still love Return of the Jedi, but it doesn't hold a candle to the first two, in my opinion.
But let me take the liberty here of going on a little bit of a rant. I said playfully, because I have a video on YouTube I made a few years ago titled, Screw You, I Love the Ewoks. Let me take a moment here to go into your emails. Let me enlighten you unwashed masses in my office here.
Yeah.
By unwashed masses.
I will forever hate the Ewoks, but please rant.
Right, so here we go. Now, a lot of people will tell me the Ewoks were just some childish... And by the way, Return of the Jedi is my number one of the Star Wars.
All right, you're already wrong, but go on.
My 3 all-time favorite sci-fi films. Number 3, Star Wars, A New Hope. Then number 2 is Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. My number 1 is Star Wars Return of the Jedi. And a lot of people say the Ewoks were just childish and put in there for this and that. And you may have other reasons why you don't like them, and that's cool. But here's my argument against that. When Lucas was originally looking at having this creature, the Ewoks, what he was trying to do was create this juxtaposition of the natural, the world of nature, the natural world, versus the world of technology. And the original idea was to have the Ewoks actually be Kashyyyk and have it be the Wookiees. He decided to go into another direction because Wookiees, he understood, were also supposed to be quite technologically savvy.
And let's not forget Life Day. That's another reason why the other reason they didn't use the Wookiees is because they already ruined it with the holiday special.
If you have not seen the Star Wars holiday special, dear heavens. Anyway, so he used the Ewoks to create this juxtaposition of the natural world versus the world of technology. But lest you think that the Ewoks are some cute, cuddly little band of Care Bears in the forest moon of Endor, keep this in mind. These are savage, flesh-eating murderers who will, number 1, track you, number 2, kill you, number 3, decapitate you, then use your heads as bongo drums in their victory celebration, and then will cook and consume your flesh. That is what the Ewoks are. These cute little fuzzy... These are little savage warriors who will cook you alive as you scream out in the forest night as your flesh burns from your bones. Cut off your head, bang them in a dance, and then eat your flesh. These are the cute little childish Ewoks. These things are nightmares. I love the Ewoks, these little brutal savages. I remember reflecting back on 12 Years a Slave, and you start hearing, if you're going to play a Sith, you got to be able to carry a vicious screen presence and be able to exude power. Watch some of Lupita's scenes in 12 Years a Slave. Tell me she would not be a terrifying Sith. Because when she steps on screen, she owns the screen when she gets on the screen, right? And she can project power. And I would love love that rumor to be true. If she came out and was like a Sith, that would be
You're like
so
jumping out of your
awesome.
seat.
I'm super
excited.
I'm just trying to picture
really
her walking
excited.
around a corner, pulling off a hood, 2 lightsabers in her hand. I crap myself right on the spot. I mean, that would be awesome. Okay, what's
We should just
next?
make a fan film so that we can see him crap himself. All right.
All right, so you know what's next?
Yesterday you were talking about shared universes. What about Paramount combining G.I. Joe and Transformers? It actually makes a little sense.
Oh, it does more than make sense. This is actually because that they are frequently crossing over in the comic books. If you look at all the Transformers movies, there's a heavy military presence in all of them. It isn't a giant leap for them to take these 2 properties that are theirs and say, let's make a mega movie. Vroom. And you know what? I'm going to call it right now. After Transformers 4, the next Transformers movie will be a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover.
Oh.
I don't know that. Nobody told me that. It's not like I know something somebody else doesn't know. I'm pulling that completely out of my rear.
He just wants
so.
the toys. He's like, they'll come out with G.I. Joe Transformer toys.
Well, isn't that what you used to do when you were young? Just mash them all together.
Of course.
It would be so cool to see them on the big screen. It makes sense.
I want to see The Rock fighting Megatron. I want to see Dwayne The Right
bring it
Johnson
on.
fighting Megatron.
I want to see him fight anyone. I'll watch him fight anyone.
A lion.
a giant lion.
A giant lion
You're gonna see
and
that.
Megatron
And then
in
he
one
could
movie.
wear Megatron on his head.
Exactly.
Do you
There you
notice
go.
in that Hercules trailer, do you notice that the lion that jumps out at him is like this big, and then when he's wearing it on his head, it's like this big?
I mentioned that earlier before we even went on.
Yeah.
Really? That's exactly what I said.
It's crazy.
It's like, the lion is like 50 times the size of his body, and then they cut to him like, I'm wearing a baby lion. You know?
Yeah.
He dehydrated it.
He shrunk it.
Smell what the Rock is cooking. See how.
We know that Michael Bay, despite the fact that he said he was done with Transformers, is
I've stopped trusting
could
Michael
not
Bay.
ignore the dump truck full of money that Paramount apparently backed
I heard it
into
was
his house.
$50 million. Will Smith heard about that. He was like, "Yo, I want $50 million." Bay's like, "Just ask for it, dude. Don't be queasy about it. Just be straight up.
Yeah.
Ask for it."
And then they high-fived.
Yeah, $50 million, son.
So, and now the head of Hasbro has confirmed, though, that even though Transformers 3 made a ridiculous amount of money, that the toy sales for Transformers 3 didn't do all that well.
Yeah, because everybody already has the ones from the first 3 movies.
So, he says, we are going to make all new characters and make the story revolve around these new characters.
And we're going to make it extra racist this time.
Here's one. I'm just giving this away, Michael Bay. Optimus Primeval. Bam! Bam! New toy, Hasbro.
You're welcome.
Just I need a crate of them shipped when he has his new paint job. Instead of flames, it'll be like, he's from hell.
Here's the thing that kills me, though. I'm going to tell you right, I'm upset by this news. Because I grew up as a fanatical Transformers fan. I could never bring a girl into my room. Because what I would do is not only would I buy all
you
the
would
toys.
not touch her parts.
Her nasty
Not
bits.
only did I buy all the toys, but what I do is once I bought the toy, on the back of every Transformers box was a power grid showing what they were good at, what their speed, firepower, leadership, endurance, all the strength. So I would cut those out. I would cut out the picture from the front, and I would put the picture with the power bar up on my bedroom wall. My entire wall was filled.
And this is when he was 18, ladies and gentlemen. No.
So
finally, his wife
but
asked
here's
him to
what
stop.
killed.
Can you take that down?
What killed my initial love of Transformers, what made me give up on it, was Transformers the animated movie came out. Now here's a bit of a history lesson. Some of you already know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the
Orson
animated.
Welles.
The animated film came out, and what they did was Hasbro had decided that we're not selling enough toys anymore. So what they did, in the first 7 minutes of the film, they killed every single Transformer. They killed them all, including Optimus Prime.
Smashed to bits. His
They
heart
said,
pulled
"Hey
out."
kids,
I don't remember the animated
we know
movie.
you've spent years supporting our brand and loving our cartoon. Well, we're just gonna crap all over you and kill them all."
Quite
And
violently, too.
Violently and not suggested. I
No,
mean, they
smashed,
they made sure you
dead.
saw them die. And then within 5 minutes, now kids, here are all the new
Cut to John
Transformers.
Campea crying in the theater.
Yes, I'm like,
and all the other
shaking
children.
my fist
I'm
at the
sure
screen
it's
and
blown away.
And I
thought
remember
Opti was my friend, and he abandoned me like daddy.
Now, here's the irony, though. When you watch the special features now on the first Transformers movie that came out, the first Michael Bay Transformers movie, you see a lot of people talking about, man, we learned from our mistake back in the day when we made that animated film. We killed off all the originals. Those were what made Transformers popular.
Right.
Such a mistake, such a mistake. Because then nobody cared about Transformers after that anymore.
Right.
And now they're doing it again.
He said,
Let me read this again.
Don't call it a reboot.
Don't call it a reboot.
Because we're coming at you strong. Robots on fire.
This
doing
is
this for
why
years.
the quote from the CEO was, "This is why Transformers 4 will have a new cast of robot characters, and it will be a story revolving around these new characters."
That is a bold
That
move.
scares me. It scares me.
I'm
to
excited
be
for the
honest.
new toy Slippy. It's just like a weird disc. It's made of some kind of peanut butter mercury, so we can sell it as a candy, and it's also a robot. Kids will love it.
You can make him into whatever you want.
Right. He's like Play-Doh. Then you eat him,
and get him all over your
Yeah.
pants.
and you have to buy him again because you eat him. So
They-
make Optimus Prime like a brand new space shuttle. I don't know.
I
like-
mean, in the movies, the Transformers can do that, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, why not just make them different objects? One guy can be an entire building.
But here's
Instead
the
of,
thing.
What about do they only have to be vehicles? Can't they be other things? Like I'm a bank, and I open up and I'm like, and I start running around. They could be bigger too. Like take a nod from Pacific Rim and make bigger Transformers. That would be badass.
Well, they did that with Devastator in the last one.
He wasn't that big. I mean, yeah, he was.
I was pretty big. That was pretty big.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The
You
one with
size
the balls.
queens.
Is that the one?
Oh yeah, I didn't like that. The
was
trailers were
scary.
so good.
I know.
It's like online dating, and all the girls' pictures are so hot, and then you meet her, it's like, oh my god.
That was
like,
10
that's
years
what
ago.
Transformers was. That's what Transformers was. It was the hot pictures in the
Yeah.
trailer, and then you go to it's like,
Exactly.
oh.
They should just have a 5-minute movie, and it would be awesome. Just a music
would.
video, and it would be cool.
G.I. Joe 3.
Well, I have to admit, I actually enjoyed the first two G.I. Joe movies. To me, they're kind of along the lines of the Fast and Furious franchise, at least the recent ones, where they're just ridiculously over the top. They're dumb, but they're fun as well. And kind of they know what they are versus the Transformers franchise, where I feel like they're just too serious and I don't know. I just can't get with that. But the interesting thing is purely speculation. They're talking about, remember last week they talked about how Transformers is now going to be this shared universe. I kind of felt sick.
some things
I
about
felt
it,
kind
yeah.
of sick when I heard that. But what about the timing of hiring this writer? Could they possibly be like going, hey, let's share the G.I. Joe and Transformers universe, make it a shared universe, and he's coming in to rewrite
Damn it,
that
Dennis,
stuff.
you suddenly just got me interested. Damn it, Dennis. Damn. Now I'm. Damn it. Anyway.
Damn it.
I don't want to think about it, but now I'm going to be thinking about that all day. That's actually.
Yeah, so that's
a great
maybe,
theory.
maybe. Who knows?
You know, if you guys have heard about The Rock starring in the next Transformers for a G.I. Joe crossover, Wrestling Mag posted it. Thank you. He
Well, if
says.
a wrestling mag posted it, no, I have not heard. I have not heard anything about that. I have not. But hey, if you're
Sorry, I got a snortle out of that one.
if you're a kid of the '80s, like me and like Snap, if you're a kid of the '80s, you will know that hey, there were some GI Joe and Transformers crossovers. They're all under one big happy roof. Why not? I mean, you got to do something with Transformers. I mean, from this point going forward. So why not? So look, have I heard anything about it? No, I have not heard anything about it. But let's talk about it in theoretical terms. In theoretical terms, I'd be all for it. Sure thing. You guys have any thoughts on that?
The Rock in everything. I know he's nicknamed franchise Viagra because they bring him into a franchise and the franchise does better. Like it
Oh,
did
I thought
with
you were
the-
going to say you bring him into a franchise and suddenly the franchise stiffens up.
Yeah, the franchise
either way, okay.
gets excited and it stays on for a long time. I don't
How many can you come up with?
keeps going and going and going. And sometimes you have to go to the hospital, but that's good. No, I think
For 4 hours of The Rock, you please see a physician.
he's such a fun guy to watch. He has a huge fan base. He's charismatic, so I am all for sticking The Rock in everything.
It's hard to follow that one, but
Yeah, you know what? I mean, weren't they talking about bringing like Men in Black into like the 21 Jump Street? Like, I'm all for it. I would love to see some crazy mashups, and why not have G.I. Joe and the Transformers? They've already done it in the comic books. And like if like when you said a wrestling mag is promoting it, it's funny to hear that, but that is, there could be a little thing of truth there. They're like, hey, we're really pushing, we're hoping that this happens because that'd be great for them. So I think a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover would be way better than seeing Transformers 5, even though they're making that right now. So
the interesting casting update for the Michael Bay-produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles continues. Whoopi Goldberg has joined the cast as Bernadette Thompson, who was originally Bern Thompson in the animated series, the boss of April O'Neil, played by Megan Fox, and Vernon Fenwick, played by Will Arnett. Trey, I think we know where you're going with this, but buy or sell Goldberg's involvement in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No. No.
Wait, is that a buy or sell, Trey?
Look.
I think he's selling.
She's on The View. No.
Aww.
I'm not. It's her. Look, she ruined her career when she went on The View. Okay. Not that charm that she had when she was doing film.
Sister Act, Ghost.
Gone. Now she's one of these, kind of curmudgeon-y, thing. Listen, this is what I gotta say about Matt.
I'm fascinated to see the first trailer of this because on the one hand, those images that got leaked of the Turtles design and the design of Shredder, which just looked phenomenal. Took me back to the original black and white comic days of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because remember, back in the day when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were first created, they were not a bunch of skateboarding, cowabunga, let's eat some pizza dudes characters. They were dark, killer ninjas. That's what they were. And and it was amazing. It was so beautiful. And then seeing those pieces of artwork harkened me back to those glorious days of what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started off as. So you see that. But then on the other hand, Megan Fox is in it. So where does that leave you? I mean, so what type of feel do you get? And I have no clue. I have no idea how I'm going to feel about this. And finally, we're going to get to see the trailer. And I do think Captain America is a nice film to premiere it in front of. Because I think basically you're targeting what a lot of your demographic is going to be there to see Captain America anyway. This is a good fit. And I cannot wait to see which is it. Is this the Shredder looks badass Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or is this a film being led by Megan Fox, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Paramount Pictures has announced that they've added the voices of Johnny Knoxville from Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa and The Last Stand, and Tony Shalhoub from Monk, Pain and Gain to the cast of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Knoxville will voice Leonardo, while Shalhoub will be providing the voice of Master Splinter. The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will open in AMC theaters everywhere on August 8th.
I love this guy. I hate this news. This is awful. Oh gosh, every time I feel like I'm getting a little bit of positive vibes from this film, they smack me in the face with more harsh reality that this is, they're doing so many things wrong.
On the heels of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character posters that came out yesterday, a brand new trailer has emerged for the Heroes in a Half Shell, and it's really hard for me to read this without singing the song. The new Turtles movie hits AMC theaters on August 8th. John, buy or sell this new Turtles trailer?
All right, hold on to your breath here for a second. Because I know you guys talked about the character posters yesterday, touched on the trailer a little bit. I thought we would talk about the trailer more in depth here. Look, everybody knows my apprehension about this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I've had it from the beginning. I still do have my apprehension about it. But I gotta say, in all honesty, I know it's not cool to say anything positive about this movie, but I gotta be honest. I liked the first trailer I saw. I like the character designs. And I just saw this new trailer. I really like it.
Like you didn't Save a Private Ryan with the crew. This is not that kind of movie. This movie is going to be all about the action.
By the way, Saving Private Ryan was not that good.
You stop.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. I nailed it.
You want me to quit the show?
The look on your face
I was horrified. Yeah. That's like you.
Deer in the headlights.
You might as well just said, "I love Jar Jar Binks."
Best character in Phantom Menace of all Star Wars.
You could say it was a half-shell kind of weekend at the box office, as the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles opened in AMC theaters this weekend and took in over $65 million at the box office, coming in at number 1. In second place was Guardians of the Galaxy with just over over 41 million, bringing its worldwide total to 313 million in just 10 days. At number 3 was Into the Storm, making 18 million. And number 4 is the new Helen Mirren film, The 100-Foot Journey, which made 11 million. And at number 5 is the Scarlett Johansson action film, Lucy. John, any surprises with this week's box office?
The only thing that's a little bit surprised, I think most people anticipated that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would come in at number 1. I mean, it's got a big appeal, so we knew it was going to be number 1. But I don't even think the studio thought it was going to make 60 plus. I think in their most optimistic estimates, they were saying maybe 55. So this is a really big accomplishment for them. Especially when you consider over the past 2 years how much grumbling and moaning and complaining people like all of us have done about it. The movie's getting horrible reviews. So, I mean, if it had been reviewed well, it might have even hit 70 million. I went to finally go see it last night. I gotta tell you, I don't know what all the bitching's about. Honestly, look, I've liked the trailers. I thought the trailers were okay, but I was still expecting a Transformers 4 level degree of crap. And maybe it's because my expectations were so low.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I walked in that theater, I sat down, Anne went with me, and we sat down and we were laughing. And it's like, this is a very faithful incarnation of the animated, they took some liberties with the story and everything, to the screen. And I thought, if you're a fan of the cartoon of this, you're gonna love this movie. Now, did I love the movie? No. Will I even say it's a good movie? Maybe not. But I walked out having gone, that had some upside. Color me completely shocked. It's got like a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and I can see why some people wouldn't like it. But I thought it was kind of fun. It had some really good one-liners. I thought the visual effects were terrific. I thought the turtles looked great. The turtles did. And I gotta tell you, I did not hate the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Color me, I don't know, I'm shocked. And Chrisley, did you see Turtles?
I did.
What did you think of it?
I sat with Miri, and I felt bad because I was afraid I was going to punch her the entire movie because I kept going, yes! I loved the cartoons, and so for me, I thought it paid great attention to the fans that love the cartoons while telling the story in a fun way that we weren't bored, and it's going to be really exciting for kids. While little kids, I think it might be a little too violent for. Like, this is a movie that I could take my little cousins to, have a ton of fun for me, and they're going to get introduced to characters in a really fun way. I thought it was awesome.
I will say this, though. In as much as this movie is not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, Megan Fox is every ounce as bad as I thought she was going to be. Look, I don't like to come out here, and I will never come on here and just trash act. I got to say, this girl has no place in the film industry. She has no talent at all. I will put Gal Gadot in a movie before I will put in Megan Fox. Every moment, but to the film's credit, it like, unlike some people who have certain criticisms of Transformers, was like, oh, it's too much humans and not a Transformer. This focuses on the turtles, which is great. So Megan Fox isn't on screen as much as you might fear she is, but every second that she's on is a little bit of my soul dies.
Wait, you didn't like This Is 40?
Oh, no.
She was great in that.
Oh,
I did like her. I thought her
I didn't mind her in the movie, to be
comic
honest. I
timing
didn't
was
mind her in the
surprising.
movie, and it didn't really focus much on her. And the movie wasn't too long.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Short and
2
sweet.
hours and 40
No,
minutes
it's an hour
long.
and 41 minutes long.
So
It
I was like,
perfect,
okay.
yeah.
Shaq Fu writes, do you think Hollywood should remake a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie?
No.
And who should direct?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Yes.
No.
Hollywood, do it.
No, don't.
You're the only one
I'm
at
the
this
only one
table
that
that's
wants it.
Well, okay, let me go one step further. Not only do I not think they should, there's nobody in Hollywood who will ever do that. It's not gonna happen. I mean, somebody might take a handy cam and shoot something just for Erin Darling to sit in a theater all by herself and watch, but no, I don't think so. I'm gonna get lots of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fans now who are going to hate me, but it's the truth.
I think there's a big group of people, probably around my age, that grew up watching in the 90s, and we have that nostalgia thing, and we would all gladly support a Power Rangers movie. And I hope we do see a remake at some point in time, because those movies could really be done a lot better with the help of technology and things that we have available today.
But, I mean, Dennis, you can look up the numbers here on this, on Box Office Mojo, but I often talk about trajectory at the box office, dictating kind of where studios may go. And I remember I talked about this once, but the first Power Rangers theatrical film made an okay amount of money, actually. It's not like it didn't bomb, it actually made some money. Then they did another theatrical Power Rangers movie, and if I could be mistaken, Dennis is looking up the numbers right now, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it made like 20% or 30% of what the first one made. So the trajectory wasn't just this,
for its box, the trajectory was this. And like nobody cared, nobody wanted to see it. And when studios sit back and look at those types of trajectories, they're just like, no, not interested. Dennis, were you able to find that?
I mean, under Box Office Mojo, only the first one comes up. Oh, it's Turbo.
It was the second one.
Yeah, it's not called Mighty Morphin. It's called Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Made $8 million.
Made $8 million.
9 million worldwide.
And what did the first one make?
Like 40, I think.
Yeah, so 40 to 8. So it made about 25% of what the original. That's not what they're looking for.
It has just been announced that Lionsgate Studios will produce a brand new original live-action feature film based on the iconic Power Rangers property. 2 other Power Rangers films were produced in the 90s, with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in 1995 and Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, in 1997.
What do you think about the rumors of Bats versus Soups taking place a decade after The Dark Knight Rises?
No.
Here we go, rant.
Look, I'm gonna say this short. I'm gonna keep this short. I'm gonna say as calm as I can. The Dark Knight Rises doesn't exist anymore. That whole universe is gone. None of this. Oh, but I read somewhere. Lies. Lies. The new Batman film, the new Superman, this new DC universe has nothing to do with the Christopher Nolan universe. Let it sink in, let the truth wash over you and soothe your ego-bruised soul, okay? It's done. So no, there is no connection to the old Batman films.
Hashtag truth baptism.
Do you notice I didn't yell or scream once there?
You start to dress up and then you control your anger and your temper? Who is this imposter?
What's the worst movie you ever took someone to see on a date?
Oh, man.
John's laughing, so we'll start with the camps.
The worst one I ever took somebody on a date on has to be one of the only films that I ever walked out on, because let's face it, I'm a firm believer that a movie is a perfect first date. Okay, so let me go off on a rabbit trail here just for a second. So a lot of people say, oh, a movie's a terrible first date. You're not talking to each other, blah, blah, blah. No. You're looking at it all wrong. And trust me, I was a player. So what happens, the reason a movie's a great first date is because a lot of people make this big mistake. They would meet for drinks and then go to a movie. Wrong. What you do is you meet up and you go to a movie first. Why? It's not awkward, because you're not in a socially tense situation. You're supposed to just be sitting there and watching the movie, and especially if it's a comedy or something like that, or something with a lot of emotion, right? So you watch the movie, and then you don't just make that the date. You make plans in advance. You're going to see a movie, and then you're going to go to like a late dinner or for drinks or dessert or after that. That way, when you see the movie, you come out, hopefully you've just had a shared experience together. You have a point of conversation that you can begin talking about because you just had that shared experience watching a movie, especially if it's a really impactful one, whether it's funny or sad or whatever. And then you can go out to dinner and sit around and you got a great point of reference to start from. I think it's a great way to start a date. However, I made the mistake of taking somebody to go see The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville.
Oh.
And it is one of the only 3 movies I've ever walked out on. It was so bad, which completely disrupted, the rest of the evening. Needless to say, John got no action that night. It was a bad thing. Johnny Knoxville, I hold you personally responsible. Critics don't like the big successful movies. They only like artsy films about young men coming out of the closet to their alcoholic father who just got back from World War II and is fighting a sexually transmitted disease that he got from an Asian prostitute who was abandoned by her mother at a young age and raised by lions. That's an Oscar winner. Somebody write that down. Somebody take a note of the movie I just described. That's your Oscar winner next year. Really? Really? So critics don't like popular films, and they don't like the exciting films. They don't like the fun films. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Well, obviously then, the critics didn't like X-Men, like the first X-Men film. And the comic book film with a guy with claws coming out of his hands and magnetic powers. Surely the critics, according to Stephen Summers, the critics must have hated that, right? Turns out the first X-Men movie has an 80% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 80%. Well, Well, according to Stephen Summers, obviously, and if critics don't like the popular and fun movies and whatever, surely the critics didn't like The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, right? Because Batman. Listen to the name, Batman. A dude who puts on a mask and runs around with his expensive toys. I'm fighting crime with a guy called the Joker. Come on, give me a break. Clearly, the critics wouldn't have liked that, right? Oh, wait. The critics gave Dark Knight a 94%. Well, yeah, but critics don't like just the fun popcorn movies, the summer kind of movies. They don't like that. Avengers, 92%. Last time I checked. I haven't checked in a while. Maybe it's up 1 or 2. Maybe it's down 1 or 2. But last time I checked, 92% the critics gave the Avengers. The epitome of the fun, popcorn, exciting, just crowd-pleasing, popular movie. Well, surely they didn't like Captain America 2. High 80%. Surely they didn't like Spider-Man 2. I'm going to shoot webs out of my hands. The critics would hate that crap, right? Oh, like 90% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, sure. Well, they wouldn't go for those really sweaty, geeky movies like those Lord of the Rings films, right? 92, 94, 96%, respectively. If your story wasn't based on a 17th century text, then it doesn't carry the sophistication to be good and blah, blah, blah. I hate those types of people. People who defend bad movies, and I'm not mad that they defend them, I'm mad how they defend them, by just pointing a finger at the people who saying there aren't good movies and saying the problem's with you. You're the problem. Like if you didn't like Transformers 4, big pile of garbage movie, but I'm cool with people say, hey, I really like Transformers 4. Cool, I'd be curious to know what you liked about it because I saw nothing but a big hot steaming pile of mess. But if that's your opinion, cool. That's fine. But what drives me crazy is when I see people respond to other film critics and saying, oh, you just didn't like it because you don't like fun movies. Really? That dude gave Avengers an A+ on his review. Tell me how he doesn't like fun movies. Oh, you just didn't like it because you're out of touch. Really? Because if you look that dude up on Rotten Tomatoes, like his film lineup with the popular opinion is about 82% of the time. Oh, you just didn't like Transformers because of this. What drives me crazy, what is actually more pompous than the stuck-up film critic, what is even more pompous than that, is when people like me or you or any bunch of our friends or whatever, when we try to defend a certain movie by attacking the person who says they don't like it. To me, that's the most pompous thing you can do. I mean, look, we fun, we tease, we say, you're insane if you don't like that. That's all cool. We all understand the film's subjective and we're just jiving, we're having a good time, we're using hyperbole, whatever. But man, when like I say I didn't like Transformers 4, and everybody knows I am biased to like Transformers 4. I'm one of the only people in the world who adamantly defends the first one. I was one of the only people in the world and online to vehemently defend the choice of Michael Bay as the director. Everybody was crapping on Bay as the director, except me. When they announced Michael Bay as the director, I started making videos and podcasts about he was the right guy for this because of the certain style, right? I thought his style will match well with the Transformers. And I love the first Transformers films, but I've been let down ever since, despite my bias to liking them. I haven't been able to enjoy them since, and I thought Transformers 4 was terrible. And I've read a lot of people on my various social media channels that like the movie, and they explain why they like it, and that's cool. That's the best thing about movies. It's all subjective. We all have different points of view. What drives me crazy, though, is when I see some people who hate the movie say, well, if you like Transformers, then clearly you have no intellect and you have no appreciation for what a good movie is and blah, 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 blah. That's terrible. But equally as terrible is the other side of people saying, well, if you didn't like Transformers, you just don't appreciate fun movies. You don't know how to appreciate just a good fun movie. No, it's just that maybe your definition of fun and mine is a little bit different. Because I watch Avengers. It has action, funny one-liners, all that kind of stuff, but it had a story that worked and characters that were likable and it all came together and they crafted into a package that was a full entertainment value and it was great. Transformers 4 was just a dirty hot mess. Where did the samurai robot come from? Explain to me why the Dinobots are joining in this fight. Tell me why now Optimus Prime, whenever he gets startled, he starts yelling, I'll kill you, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. So why is Megatron now suddenly a Scooby-Doo villain going, and this is what he said, saying, no, the Autobots are ruining everything. Explain to me why that's happening. Really? Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best day movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from right here at the new AMC Movie News headquarters in Burbank, California. We are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
And also here is writer-director John Schnepp.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're part of Phase 3 is right here.
Phase 3 starts today.
Do that wide shot again. It's like, doesn't this look like a strange toy set? We're like, it's a weird, where are my Lego characters to move into? We've been composited in. This is all green screen technology.
And also here is AMC's Christian Harloff.
I feel like I'm on the Death Star.
This is awesome. This is so
Fully
cool.
operational.
Yeah, so cool.
Hey, folks, listen, before we get rolling in the movie news, this is actually, I guess, the official start of Phase 3 here at AMC Movie News. Thanks for joining us today. Now, you're going to notice, for those of you who are used to watching us stream live, we're not streaming live for the next couple of weeks because we're in a brand new studio. We want to work out all the bugs. So this show will probably go up live around 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get back to streaming live. But I want to mention a couple of quick things here. Big day, a big weekend for the AMC Movie News team as a whole. First off, I believe it was Saturday or Sunday, the nominees got announced for the 2015 Podcast Awards. And our very own Mark Ellis and Christian Harloff, the Schmoes, got nominated for their podcast, Schmoes Know, for Best Movie or Film Podcast.
Yeah,
so congratulations to you
Thank
guys.
you very much. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I didn't even know it was coming, so it's pretty awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so that was great. And then yesterday, the nominees for the 2015 Academy of Web Television Awards got nominated. Now, last year we won this little award right here for Best News Series online, and we didn't really think we'd get nominated for anything this year because they took out our category. There is no Best News Series category anymore. Last year we got nominated for 2 awards, Best News Series and Best Live Host for myself. And this year we got 3 nominations, as it turns out. Biggest of all, of course, is that AMC Movie Talk, I should say, got nominated for Best Live Show Online, which we are super excited about. And then we picked up 2 other nominations, one for Best Live Host for myself for AMC Movie Talk, and Best Show Host, not live, for myself for AMC Mailbag, of course, co-hosted with me with Ashley Nova. And in that category, it's kind of cool because, first of all, Kristen Nettlepack we're up against, who's a friend of ours. She's marvelously talented. Will Wheaton we're up against, and Larry King. That's awesome. So awesome. F you, Larry King. I'm gonna start a Twitter war with Larry King. I adore Larry King. I grew up watching, so that's great. So new studio, new set, launching the show again, awards for everybody all around. We're super excited, so we're so glad that you're joining us today. Well, hey, folks, listen, before we go, we have a little bit of an announcement to make. So I'll let her do it, but I'll set up the context. So the other day, Amy Rose and I often, we'll get together and go over the highlights, what's going on, take a big picture of what's going on in AMC Movie News. And for those of you who are fairly new to us, for a long time, AMC Movie News was me, Dennis, and Amy Rose. I mean, it was just the 3 of us doing things. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, Amy Rose comes into my office and she tells me this. So I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Sean. No pressure at all.
That was a bad setup. That was not nearly as good as it was in my head. It sounded way better in my head.
It's because you're getting choked up.
Yes.
We've seen some notes about it, and it's true. I have resigned from AMC, which is really sad and heartfelt because, as John said, it's literally been Dennis and I, and then we brought in Mr. Schnepp, and it's been the OGs, and this has been my baby for the last almost 4 years.
Yeah.
But I've spent the last pretty much decade working at studios and working here and writing about all these films, but I want to create myself. I have a lot to say, and I want to create impactful, important films. And a lot of you don't know how much I do behind the scenes, other than coming soon and AMCI and being on here, but it's just, you get a point in your life where you have to create that opportunity, and I'm so grateful, and I'm like really sad, and really, it's just a lot of emotions coming up, but I'm not going anywhere. Where I love everything. I'm so grateful for the opportunity and for everything we've built. I'm so damn proud of this.
Yeah.
But it's sad, and I'm going to miss you guys so much. But I'm really excited, and I'm launching a company called Radiant Jane Productions, and I have a lot of projects in the works that I'm going to work on, and I hope to have them maybe play in AMC one day. So thanks for all your love and support. I literally wouldn't have stayed here without my family that as AMC and all you incredible fans who've just been so supportive and so amazing, and it really means the world to me, and more to come.
I want to thank everyone on the panel, especially Amy Rose, her last day here. Amy Rose, where can people continue on to follow you after this?
Yeah, I'll still be on Twitter and Facebook and all the relevant social channels. Amy Rosie is my handle. I will be in Asia starting Friday for 6 weeks, but I'm going to start making my documentary there. And lots of great things to come with Radiant Jane Productions. Really excited to share it with all of you. And thanks again for all the support. Like, it's literally, you've made me cry like 4 times this week just from all the love and outpouring of just kindness. And, you know, I've been a part of this for so long. And it's like, when I made the announcement on the show last week, we were talking about this, the Wiz Khalifa Furious song came on. I just started crying in my car because it's just like, this is all I've known for like 4 years. So it's been crazy, but I literally would not be here without you wonderful people and all of you guys. So thank you for everything. And, you know, go chase those dreams of yours. Life's too short. Mwah.
We're going to miss you, and we wish you good luck.
All right, folks. Well, that will do it for our show today. One other little bit of housekeeping to do. Some of you may already know this already. Some of you may not. A couple of weeks ago, due to something that went down, I went to AMC and I told them that I was resigning as editor-in-chief of AMC Movie News. Now, the great guys at AMC, particularly our vice president, our CMO, asked me to give them a few days to try to come up with some new things and that we can keep talking and come up with something, come up with a resolution that would make it be so I could decide to stay. However, we talked for a week, and this past Friday, a few days ago, I officially submitted my resignation as the editor-in-chief of AMC Movie News. Now, I am not going anywhere in the immediate turn here. I have offered to stay on board for the next number of weeks to kind of ease out and create a transition here for what will be going on next at AMC Movie News. But all I want to do is let you know, yeah, it is official if you've heard the rumors that I have resigned. I love AMC Movie News, and in particular, I'm not going to go into a lot right here because I'll wait till my last day. That's weeks away. But I will say this. It has been the greatest single honor of my now going on pretty long career to work with this group of people on this particular team. And it has been a great honor to every day do stuff for the greatest online fans in the world, which has been you guys. The amount of support and encouragement, the daily emails, tweets, Facebook messages, the fan art, all this stuff that you guys send to me, is just makes life worth living, man. It really does. And I'll go into more on my last day, but I just wanted to put that out there now and let you guys know that's what it is. So there's no more speculation. There's nothing like that. I am going to be doing some new things. I have a few weeks to decide what my new thing is going to be. I have a few pretty cool options, but for now, keep following me on Facebook, on Twitter at John Campia, and why not go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel too? It's at youtube.com/John Campia. So I'll keep you guys all up to date with what's going on with me later. For the next few weeks, it's business as usual. We're going to keep getting business done here, and I just wanted to thank all you guys.
Adam H. writes, what has AMC Movie Talk and its fan base meant to you?
Well, going into these last two questions, I should let you know where these came from. You know, we were putting together these questions, and I didn't mention it at the beginning of the show. This is my final AMC mailbag show. And we were putting together some questions, and I went on, as I realized, you know, we only got room for one more question. I said, you know, instead of me, I went on my Facebook page, said, hey guys, we're trying to find the last question to ask on mailbag. So write out your questions in here right now, and whichever question gets the most likes will get on. And there were one got the most likes, and the other I just thought was a really great question that we should address. So, and we took two of them instead of one. Yeah. So this is the first one. Adam Lavick, what is AMC Movie Talk and its fan base meant to you? AMC Movie Talk itself, and we were talking like this because I'm still actually going to be around AMC Movie News for another week or two, but this is my last mailbag. AMC Movie Talk is a vision and a dream I had for this right from the first day that AMC reached out to me and asked me to come and put something together for them years ago. And it is the culmination where we're at right now, is the culmination of everything that, starting with me, I had dreamed about and envisioned about. And then as the team built around me, you know, Dennis and Amy Rose and stuff like that, and Justin, that we collectively would dream and talk about and say, imagine when we can get here. Imagine. I still remember I was vacationing in Las Vegas, which I do a lot. Mm-hmm. I was in Las Vegas when our YouTube channel hit 5,000 subscribers. And I was so thrilled. At the time, it was Roth Cornett was with us, who was our, like kind of my right hand before Amy Rose, and Dennis. And I remember it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I got back to my room in Vegas. It's like, hey, we hit 5,000. And I emailed everybody. It's like, holy crap, guys, we hit 5,000. Now we're about to hit 300,000. And it was just, and then just seeing where we've gone from all working at home to working in a converted storage closet at AMC Burbank 16, to then going and recording at our friends over at the Stream.tv studios in Hollywood, and then ultimately phase 3 into our own studio. And it has just been an amazing thing being able to dream out something and then step by step seeing it happen with the best people around you doing it, you know? And that's like the most incredible feeling when you get to do that, and you get to do it with incredibly talented people that you just love working with. And it has just been awesome. So it has just meant so much to me, AMC Movie News. What are the fans meant to me? The notion that we have fans is still a strange one to me. We are fans who have fans. It's still really weird. And it's like, it's a daily occurrence now. And, you know, in Burbank or movie theaters around or wherever we go, we have people coming up to us in the streets and stopping us now. And and that's the most awesome thing in the world. I get a huge kick out of that, but it still feels really strange. Like, why the F do you want to talk to me? But where it really began to turn for me, I remember about a year ago, we got this, we started getting these emails from people saying, I was in the hospital last year and I was in there for like 2 weeks, and listening to AMC Movie Talk every day helped get me through that. And that was awesome. And we started getting emails like that. It's like, and I remember Dennis and I were talking, it's like, this, you know, we're just talking movies and having fun and everybody all like, but this is actually, to some people, this is important too, you know? And then I remember it was about a year ago. Do you guys remember this? We got that email from the guy who had the superhero daughter.
Right.
He had the little girl who was going through chemo. She had cancer and she was going through treatment, and she had her beautiful little shaved head. And her dad sent us this picture of her and her sisters. And the email talked about, I'm going to hold this together. The email talked about, what listening to our show, and it's something that he did with his daughter, and they would watch our show, and just about what our show meant to him and his family, helping them get through this stuff. And I just remember I went home and I cried. Not because, I mean, partially because I was just brokenhearted that this beautiful angel of a little girl was sick, but also the notion that this incredible family allowed us the privilege of being a part of their lives. That was insane. And we started getting more messages like that. And then a couple of weeks ago, I got this one email from this guy, and I told you guys the story in our staff meeting, and I nearly totally broke down. And I'm going to try not to do that here. But I got this one email from this guy whose nephew was dying, and there was nothing they could do. And he told me the story about how he and his family, they would all like sit around, and they wouldn't be mopey. They would sit around and be with the kid, his nephew, his brother's son. And there are days that they would just watch AMC Movie News because his son loved comic book movies, and they would watch our AMC stuff. And I remember thinking, who are we that we get to do stuff like this, and you guys would let us have the privilege of being a part of your lives during stuff like that? And it has been these types of experiences for me that we've had people who have allowed us to be a part of their days, have allowed us to be a part of life experiences they're going through, who are collectively with us being fans of the movies, and we get to share that together and that excitement and that joy. And yet at the same time, they let us be a part of their turmoil and their trouble at the same time. And I still don't know what to do with that, to be honest. I still don't know how to process that. I still don't know how to talk about it. But when you ask me the question, what did the fans of AMC and what we've done here mean to me? I don't even know how to say it. I just don't. I don't know how to say it. Except to say, I mean, I'm floored, but that doesn't even begin to cover it. What you guys have meant to me personally, and I know I speak for everybody on our team, what you guys have meant to us and me as we've gone down this journey together of just talking movies, but then getting to share each other's experiences has been incredible and life-changing and something I will never forget.
Oh my gosh. We're not supposed to get upset. You're still here for a couple more
That's
weeks,
right.
okay?
Damn it.
All right, I'm going to hold this together for one last question. Andre Fernando Lee writes, what are your favorite memories? Hopefully, oh my gosh, I can hold it together some more. What are your favorite memories at doing AMC Movie News?
These are all be good things.
Okay.
I think there's a bunch of really cool things we've got to do here. And I mean, I really can't emphasize it enough that, you know, my philosophy on building teams is putting people around you that you trust. And it just meant the world to me when I was able to convince Dennis Zen to come on. I just don't think there's a finer mind in the business in this city. And I was just so thrilled when he came on. And that was a big early win. I remember when AMC said they were going to let us turn a converted storage closet into an actual little studio. You guys remember that? We had the white glass table and the red and black curtains behind us. We still have that space. That was like such a momentous occasion for us. I still remember when we threw our first AMC party at Comic-Con. It was great. And at that party, we had Stan Lee and Edgar Wright there, and we were presenting them with what was the inaugural AMC Fan Fanatic Awards to Stan Lee. I got to present at the Stan Lee. I should have actually had pictures ready because there were pictures of this. And that was just an incredible night. Our first junkets that we got to go and cover was a really big thing. And a couple other ones that really stand out to me. The 100 million view party was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just like 5 months ago. When we hit 100 million views, 100 million views of our YouTube channel, and we had that party. And I remember still thinking the night of the party, I didn't know if anybody was going to come. And then Ray and we had a car pick us up, and it's driving us into Hollywood to the Stream.TV studios where we had the party. And we saw a big crowd of people, our friends, like, oh, I wonder what's going on over there. And then when we realized as we got closer, it was people lined up down the streets and around the building and stuff like that for the AMC 100 million view party. And like me and Ray are in the backseat of this car, and we're just looking, it's like, what the hell? And we went in and we were just floored by. So the 100 million view party, huge. Obviously hitting the first time when we hit 100,000 subscribers was a big deal to us. That's a great memory. And we partied when that happened. Now we're about to hit 300,000 subscribers. The night a year and a half ago now that we won Best News Series at the Academy of Web Television Awards, which we were, Dennis and I were so deathly sick. We were so sick. He and I were out of AMC Movie News for like a month.
And even when we came back, it's like we were still dying sick. We were disgusting.
They're like 8 out of the 10 of us got like deathly ill. It hit Dennis and I so hard that I wasn't even on the show for a month. And Dennis was out of action for a long time. It was horrible. And then just 2 months ago, we won the Academy of Web Television again. We won for Best Live Series, which is a great memory. And one of the best, though, I think maybe my favorite is the night we did the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. And we had Marvel president Kevin Feige, Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn, and the star of the movie, Chris Pratt, all came into the studio and did that live event with us, talking of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I mean, there are so many great memories I have of the things that we've done here. And yeah, those are just some of them that I'm pulling off the top of my head. What's your favorite memory of stuff that we've done here at AMC since you've been here?
Oh my gosh. Well, of course, the 100 million views party. I had so much fun that night. All of you guys that showed up were so freaking awesome.
You were so drunk.
No, I was not.
Totally
no,
kidding.
I'm was not.
Totally lying.
I have a good time, sans alcohol. All right. That was really, really fun. I think one of my standout memories, mostly because it was horrifically embarrassing, was my very first day where I came into audition for you. And there was this lovely girl sitting outside, and she was like, "Oh, are you here for the audition?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm here for the audition." And we start talking because you were taking a little bit of time. And I'm going on and telling her about how I just got back from Las Vegas celebrating my friend's 21st birthday, and I was just getting wasted, and I was like falling all over the place. I was like, I don't even know if I'm hungover right now. And then you come and I go audition for you. And the next morning when I came in for like a test run, I get this email, and it's a picture of the girl that I was talking to. And she's like, "Just wishing you some good luck, girl, like sending good vibes your way. Signed, Amy Rose Eisenbach." I wanted to go crawl into a hole, but there have been like so many good memories here.
That will do it for this installment of AMC Mailbag. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this is my last episode of AMC Movie Talk. I don't want to go on too much about it here, but Anne's here. Anne, can I get you to come over here? Anne came to support me to be here for our last show. The people, but don't tell anybody. The people at Hasbro think she's working.
Yeah. I saw her working on some stuff.
Hasbro
it's all top
thinks Anne
secret.
is working on the new Star Wars line. Anyway, I wanted to thank. I just want to say thank you to AMC, and in particular, a couple guys over there in leadership at AMC, starting with Steven, who's the CMO there, has always been very supportive of us. Our vice president, Brent, who I was able to develop a really good relationship with. We got Shane over there, who's the director of our whole department. Justin Gardner is no longer with AMC, but the guy who originally recruited me to come to AMC was a partner of ours for a very, very long time. Obviously, I work with the best team of people in the world in this business. I have no false humility about this. I have no anything. This group of people is the best in the world in what we do in this space. And I'm honored every day to work with them with the support of an incredibly supportive spouse who lets me kind of just, do all these ridiculous things that a 5-year-old would do. I have an incredible team, an incredible group of people, and we have the most incredible viewers and fans. You guys have been so supportive and so great, and I appreciate it so much. I have, actually, probably in about an hour, I'm signing the new contract for my new endeavor. I will let you know what that is, probably in the next 2 or 3 days, but you can watch for me there. So, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys in the room, to you guys at the table, to you, the most amazing woman in the world. Thank you guys so much. And that being said, don't forget, guys, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater showtime and movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video and you'll find a link to our podcast feed. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, the birthday boy, soon to be heavily intoxicated, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
Well, first I want to say thanks and say that we appreciate all the work, the hard work you've done for AMC Movie News, and it's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm sure in the future we'll work together again.
7 years you and I have been working together on various things. And of course, over here, getting ready to get on a plane, hopefully with a really mentally sound, happy with his life air traffic controller at the helm,
Please.
Mr. John Schnepp. Where can people find you online?
To all you people who are air traffic controllers, you can find me at John Schnepp and at TDOSLWH on Twitter and Instagram. And you can check out my film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, going to www.tdoslwh.com. Sorry, it's a TDOSLWH.
QM74.
TDOSLWH.com, and you can pre-order the movie. It comes out July 9th. I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con, but this weekend I'll be in Florida, in Miami at the SuperCon, so come say hi. And John, it's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you so much for having me be a part of this amazing show. I love coming and doing this and doing the news with you guys. I'm sure we'll be hanging out in the future very soon, and that's all I've got to say about that.
And of course, our lovely host today, Miss Sinead DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you online?
I'm on all social media and YouTube at Sinead DeFries and at thatsosinead.com. And I just want to say it's been like literally 1 exact year since I got my very first ever hosting job on the Pretty Little Liars after show that Campia hired me on. So he is the only one that has ever hired me for anything. I got 3 shows under him now. So thank you so much. You've always believed in me, and I can't wait to work with you again. Sure will.
And I still do. And you are going to be one of these days. The rest of us are going to be like, I remember when we worked with Sinead DeFries when nobody knew who she was.
Oh, nice.
And of course, you guys can follow me on my social media here. Follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Follow me at John Campion. I'll keep you guys up to date with what's going on with me. So for AMC Movie News, folks, for my last time, thank you so much for joining us. And until Dennis does it next time, bye-bye.